welcome back to the Down South Philly show brought to you by Sports Lounge Media. Man, we had to take this one on the chin, man. We out the playoffs. Niners sent us home. Um, Happy Tuesday, Daniel Barry. More of the same from the offense. Another stellar performance by the defense. But to no avail. We ended up losing that one. And it was rough, man. I can't say that I'm surprised because we knew that the demise of this team, if it was going to be a demise, was going to be the offense. It was going to be the offensive play calling. And I'd be damned if it didn't come true. I mean, we seen issues of this from week one. We saw it in week one. We continued to see more of it in you name the week. We've seen it. We've been inept on offense for the better part of the year, and it reared its ugly head yet again, and it ended up costing us because we had this game. As I said before, defense showed up yet again, um, but they were the only team to show up, and it ended up costing us. So before we kind of dive into the weeds of the loss and what this means for the Birds going forward in the offseason, we do want to talk about. We need to talk about Tomlin, another piece that fell, another domino to fall. So we weren't the only team to lose in wild card weekend, of course, and we weren't the only team to lose with a coach that had, should I say, a hot seat. So when we talk about Mike Tomlin, uh, his seat has been hot for years, right? So his claim to fame is never having a quote unquote losing season, and all that means is that you finish the season with a winning record, which the fan base got tired of because it's really just empty calories. It really don't mean much because you've been on this same hamster wheel for what 17 years. Um, and the fans want more. The fans deserve more. The Steelers are one of those storied franchises who has like 6 rings already. Looking to add the infamous 7 to the trophy case. So they have the pedigree. They have the champion. They got it in the trophy case. Is what I'm trying to say. But they haven't had it in a while. Tomlin is a great head coach, great leader of men, but things just got stale in Pittsburgh, and not unsimilar to what we had to do with Andy Reid, where things just seemed like both sides needed a fresh start. So we got Tomlin, who that whenever it's a storied coach or a respected coach in this league, they never say that they're fired. They always say that them and the organization have parted ways. They've agreed to go their separate ways, which is just PC for fired. But when you're respected as much as Tomlin and what he's done in this league, you want to give him more. You want to give him a little more than just a fired post on social media. So they say stuff like gone separate ways, but we all can read between the lines and realize that that's what it was. So Tomlin, he can pretty much go wherever he wants to go at this point. If he wants to take a year off, if he wants to hop right back into it, there's a lot of coaching vacancies right now. So this year we lost, not we lost. This year there have been a lot of head coaches who have lost their positions. So we got Mike McDaniel, who's out. We got John Harbaugh, who's out in Baltimore. We got just mentioned Mike Tomlin. There's a bunch of offensive and defensive coordinator positions available. Jonathan Gannon is out in Arizona. It's a good 5 or 6 teams with decent squads that just need a little molding. So these coaches, they have their pick of what they want to do. I think Mike McDaniel should probably go the offensive coordinator route first. But when you talk about a Tomlin or a Harbaugh, they definitely can just slide right into a head coaching position. They've been at that level so long that it really just doesn't make sense for them to go backwards. Because I mean, they both almost have 20 years of experience with one team, so they are bona fide head coaches. Things just got stale in those organizations, and once you get stagnant at any point in time, it's time to move on. So when we look at the landscape of what's possible for both of these coaches, and I won't get too deep into it, but when you hear things like Harbaugh interviewing with the Giants and having several interviews lined up, the same is going to be said for all of these coaches. If Tomlin chooses to do so, he will have a job in 2026 come August, well before that, actually, in the coming months if he wants it. But we got a little bit of housekeeping to tend to. I mentioned the offensive struggles that we've had all year, but we can also add to the fact that we got rid of Kevin Patullo. Now, this is a fan favorite decision. We've been calling for Patullo's head pretty much all year long. Um, some fans expressed concern as early as the preseason. I mean, we saw some things in preseason that kind of made you raise an eyebrow at the very least. People like myself, people like Dom, we wanted to give it some time. Um, so we let half the season play out. Said that things could potentially look better after the bye, maybe a couple games after the bye. Then we play two of the worst offensive games that we played all year long when we played the Packers and we played the Lions. So really, it seemed like after the bye, the offense got worse. The offense got worse. The things that we were doing well were on tape at that point, and teams just wasn't letting us do the things that we got away with in the first half of the season. So this was definitely a much needed move for us. As a matter of fact, need to look at the offensive output so we can kind of justify this. We already know the fact that we were one and done in the playoffs, the fact that our offense at times just didn't do anything, whether that be for halves or quarters or um, drives. We just it's time for a change. So let me see. Eagles offensive stats 2025. Let me see. Offensive rankings might be a better. All right, so under Kevin Patullo in 2025, we generally ranked in the lower half of the league, often around 25th, 24th or 25th total offense. Really just inconsistent all year long. Key stats showed near the bottom of the third down efficiency around 27th. And with lower passing yards, around 16th in the league, but they were 11th in rushing touchdowns. So I mean, I would say our red zone offense was the bright spot of the offense in itself. If we managed to get down there in the red zone, we probably were going to put that in, and that's where Patullo thrived. So although there was a lot of bad, I would say the good, it was consistent. The only thing that was consistently good was the red zone offense. More times than not, we get down there in the red zone, we're gonna put it in. Um, Nobody benefited from that more. I do like the fact that Kevin Patullo implemented the tight end very well in the red zone. As a matter of fact, I think Goddard ends the year with like what 12, 13 touchdowns on the year, easily the highest of his career. So total offense, we were 24th, 25th, approximately. We averaging about 300 yards a game. Not good enough. We ranked around 16th in passing offense with 34.98. Rushing offense, we ranked in the bottom third of the league, which is unacceptable considering the fact that we still had Saquon. We still had our offensive line out there. Now, that offensive line was a shell of themselves from last year. I know you have some people that say that Saquon lost a step. It was the Madden curse. Um, he was showing effects of a gruesome season last year. I don't put any of this on Saquon. Saquon, when given space, when given time, looked the same way he did last year. The problem was that the two things, well, really three things. So, but the two major things were bad play calling, predictable play calling, and a bad offensive line. Let's call a spade a spade. Our offensive line was bad this year. When you talk about Cam Jurgens, when you talk about Landon Dickerson, um, at times Tyler Steen, hell, even when you look at Myalata and when you look at and Lane Johnson, nobody really showed dominance on the offensive line. Not what they did last year, and certainly not what they have done in the Sirianni era. So, um, offensive line was just ugh. Yo,
Yo,
chopping it up about your boy.
KP.
Go ahead.
Hey,
Go
what's up, boy?
ahead.
Hey, boy got sent to the back, ain't
Go ahead and speak your piece, because I don't see us talking about him no more.
it? Man, I'm sitting right here looking at KP. He looking at me. We looking at each other. Nah, let me stop. But now on the real, I feel the same way everybody else feel. I ain't seen not one person be like, man, we got to keep KP. So with that being said, I feel the same way y'all said. It ain't really much to say about it. We know what it is. We know what it was. He wasn't doing a whole bunch of nothing. Now, let me say this now. Um, it wasn't all KP fault, but it was enough of his fault that he had to get up out of there. I didn't like the route concepts. I didn't like the sequencing of the plays. Um, every time something was going wrong, it wasn't KP fault, because I know a lot of times stuff started going wrong and it's might have started off KP. Now everything that's going wrong is KP, 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 KP. I'm not one of them people. I ain't gonna pile it on them like that. I'm gonna give everybody they just do and the blame that they deserve. But it was enough blame to go around, and we know why for KP to be up out of here. We don't need no first time coordinators. And one thing I like about the Eagles, when we have a veteran coordinator, Nick ain't got to be in there breathing down his neck, seeing what's going on, trying to call his plays, get his plays called. When we got a veteran coordinator, Nick off doing something else, he doing whatever. He ain't got to be worried about what's going on. He ain't had to be down killing more Nick last year with the play calling or whatever. He let Kellen Moore do his thing. Now it was some stuff You just not getting in the building. So we do got to work in, some particulars. But for the most part, Kellen Moore doing his thing. So, um, Kevin Patullo had to go. Like I said, it wasn't all his fault, but it was enough of his fault because let's be real, man. The offensive line wasn't doing him no favors. The wide receivers wasn't doing him or Jalen no favors. So everybody had some blame to go around. But like I said, it was too when it's consistently you. Like I don't think it was a game this season where I felt like none of that went on KP. That was all on Hurt. So that was all on. No, I think every game it pretty much. Now I know we had the game against the Raiders, but it was the Raiders. Yeah, KP had to go. Like I said, we know why. It's no secret. Nobody was hoping that he stayed. And like me and DP kind of was saying earlier a few weeks ago, the only way we probably would feel comfortable with KP staying around is if offense just took off in the playoffs and we went to a Super Bowl, whether we won it or not. But if it took off in the playoff and it was good enough to say we got to the Super Bowl, they played well, whatever happened at the end happened, we end up losing. Situation like that, hey, you got to come back because we seen you be able to turn over a new leaf in the playoffs, and when you come back, you will no longer be a first-time coordinator. You would have had the ups and downs of your first season. You come back year two and y'all could do something, but you didn't really get that vibe from KP. And I see a lot of stuff going around now. I forgot who it was. It was an interview, but anyway, I forgot who they said it was talking to. But whoever the person was said it was talking to KP himself, and he was saying, people too hard on him. Everything that's going on with the offense wasn't his fault. It was some inner workings and stuff going on that that made it not his fault. Then you got other people speculating Jalen Hurts can't do this. Jalen Hurts can't do that. That's why held back Kevin Patullo. They trying to say that he even held back Kellen Moore offense. They had to change it week 4 or something like that. Whatever. Man, first off, EAD. Whoever saying that, man, you don't know what EAD mean. EAD mean.
Look it up.
But look it up. But yeah. So I think a lot of people just don't really care what's going on, or they just want to place the blame on certain people. So they gonna pile it on Kevin Patullo, they gonna pile it on Hurts or whatever, and then a lot of times people they already influenced by other people, so they gonna listen to it. They don't really understand what's going on. So the first thing they hear somebody sound like they know what they're talking about, they gonna jump on that. They could be an Eagles fan. They hear somebody going off, well, if Jalen Hurts do this, they hating Jalen Hurts because they don't know what they looking at, so they got to go off somebody else's advice or whatever. So don't be one of them people, man. That's all I got to say. But as far as Kevin Patullo, he had to go, and this really should be our last time talking about him. It won't be because next year when we get our new coordinator, everything this season will be compared to Kevin Patullo. But outside of that, man, hey, appreciate you, KP,
But also,
it didn't work out.
to go along with you said, it wasn't all KP because nothing ever is all one person when you talk about team sports. But he may not even be out altogether. We just know he ain't gonna be calling plays next year. I think it was some reports that saying that he could still be in the building in some capacity, which I don't have no problem with him sweeping the floors, mopping, something like that. So I mean, I ain't tripping off that. He was on the staff last year and he wasn't a hindrance to the team on the Super Bowl run. We just know what he can't do. So we need to go ahead and get some fresh eyes on the situation. Because obviously, if we had that person in the building, they would have been, they would have got some kind of shot. We had a whole season to try out whoever they thought could have been better equipped to do anything. So obviously that person ain't in the building. It's some good candidates out there for us to kind of explore. But it's a lot of coaching positions available. It seemed like more so than usual, especially when we think about like the coveted team. So you got the Steelers. They just let go of Tomlin. You got Harbaugh out in Baltimore. Gannon already out in Arizona. McDaniels already out in Miami. Stefanski is out in Cleveland. So I mean, you got you got a handful of coaches, coaching positions that are available, and then it's a bunch of coordinator positions that's sprinkled in there too. Because, like you said on stream last night, more times than not, the head coach will get a chance to pick his coordinators. Um, so that means that that's at least a handful of coordinating positions that are available to go along with those head coaching positions. So when I look at the landscape of things, and if you want to point to any silver lining, if you will, it's the fact that the Eagles are free. We can throw our name in the hat for some of these big name coaches, um, and kind of really see, shake the trees and not have to hire a Patullo at the end of a Super Bowl. Even though if I had my choice, I would rather still be playing ball. I would rather hoist up a Lombardi and have Patullo on the team, but it wasn't in the cards. So, like you said before, it wasn't just KP. We can point to a bad offensive line since we've seen the whole season of it. For whatever reason, now you can attribute that to maybe some injuries. You can attribute that to bad run call and run schemes, but we got to keep in mind that this is the same offensive line outside of one Tyler Steen that we had last year. So um, the main ingredient in what's new, Kevin Patullo, so long, farewell, arrivederci, I holla, all that good stuff. Really don't have no ill will toward him because I don't know him personally.
Right.
I just know that old boy can't call plays.
Hey, I hate when
And
people do that too, though. I hate when people try to start taking personal shots on people.
yeah,
They didn't like something they did with the football team. Now, man, I personally feel like I'm one of the biggest Eagles fans there is. But one thing I never do is really just start making something personal with a player or a coach, bro. It ain't never that serious. Like
yeah, that just
people
ain't how
go,
life works.
people start going find people's social medias. They talking about they rolling up on Buddy House. All, hey, bro, it ain't. Hey, that's crazy right there. But um, one uh one last thing I say about Kevin Patullo, to what you said about him being in the building. Damn, beard hair in my mouth. Yeah. But but one thing I say about him still building in the building, I think that's cool because I mean I don't know, we don't know for a fact that he will.
Right.
But one thing I say about that is I think that's dope just from the standpoint of he already been here all this time. And then you got to be a coordinator for a year. Why not stay in the building? See what the new coordinator come in and do. See what the team move on transition to do. Hey, what was it? Because if my ultimate goal is to be an offensive coordinator and then a head coach, I want to see, what we do, what the organization, especially with a well-ran organization, what kind of other place to really be.
Yeah.
Now you could go other places and get other experiences, you will learn from that as well. But at the same time, with you coming off what a lot of people looking at as a bad performance, now you never really know what friends people got in the league or whatever. So he might got other friends who are not looking at it that way, that would probably bring him in. But for the most part, a lot of people might be looking at it as if I don't know if that was KP, I don't know if that was the Eagles, I don't know if that was Jalen, I don't know if that was the offensive line. So they might not know what that is. So from his standpoint, hey, I'm gonna stay in the building, maybe see what's going on. I think if he was to leave, I think somebody or people that would be interested in hiring him are people in our division who probably trying to get some insight on the Eagles. Hey, let's bring KP in. You know what I'm saying? Give him this role, and then really we trying to see what's up with the Eagles or whatever, and he can get some revenge because they probably were talking crazy about him, whatever. But I think if he was to go, we'll probably see him go somewhere, maybe like Dallas, Washington, or New York or something like that. If not, he probably stay with. I would stay in, like I said, I would stay in the organization and see what's going over there. Keep helping Nick, see what we could do. I don't know. He got a few options. Like I said, you never really know who people know around the league, and a lot of time is who you know.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's time to turn the page. We appreciate your service, KP. Wish it would have worked out, but it didn't. So looking forward to, in the same vein, who are some of the coordinators that you got your eye on that you might be hopeful that at least get an interview.
I say we stick a plunder. But what's my dog name? We've been talking about. Oh, I keep forgetting all these people
Leftwich.
names. But Byron, I wasn't about to say him, but Byron Leftwich is on the table. But he ain't my first choice. Well, see, the only reason why he not my first choice, he kind of up there though, because he'll a wild card in the fact of from the outside looking in, we looking for somebody that we feel like might stick around for a while. So
Right.
we kind of wondering, is Byron Leftwich one of those guys that'll come in and stick around for 2 to 3 years minimum, um, and then go somewhere? But he also a guy that I'm looking at as in like he been away from the league for a while. He doing whatever, he still when you done played the game and been a part of the game like that, he's still paying attention to what's going on. So he know the landscape. Excuse me. He know the landscape of the league and stuff like that. So is he looking like, all right, let me see where I could go, probably get off for a good year and get a head coaching job, or is he looking to come in, learn, be with the organization for a while, make sure he got his foot under him, then go somewhere. Just kind of like how my guy did when he went to Washington. He could have left last year and he ended up staying for another year. Like I think we need to get somebody who at least gonna stay 2 seasons. We need you at least 2 seasons.
At least two.
I would prefer to have you for more than 2 to 3. But I'm just saying, I'm just being realistic about. I know people goals and stuff like that, and you never really want to, selfishly as an Eagles fan, you want them to stay around. But in all reality, people want to grow and get more money and have these bigger positions. They want to be head coaches in the league and stuff like that. So I get it. But I'm looking at Byron Leftwich as maybe he a guy that would come in and be around for a while. So if I know if I knew for a fact that he would come in and do that, he my first option. Because I'd have seen him as a quarterback. I'd have seen him come in, work as an offensive coordinator. He didn't work with Brady. We didn't heard people talk great about him. So to me, if he was a guy that I knew that would come in and stay for a while, he probably would be my first option just off of that, just off the longevity that we would have him. But I'm looking at what's his name? Mike McDaniels.
Mike McDaniel.
I'm looking at Mike, man. I don't know what it is about Mike, but he's standing out to me. He just screamed Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super Bowl offensive
Plus, I
coordinator.
really like his scheme. He got one of them Shanahan, McVay type schemes.
Yeah, and I like that. And what I like about that is, so one thing about, even though I think, so with Jalen, boom, even since college, he always had these different offensive coordinators. But I really think like he getting to a point now where he putting so much in his toolbox that it's certain stuff that he really gonna know a little bit of everything. So this is just in my opinion, he ain't really been a part of no scheme like this. So bring him in, bring him. That's a new scheme. Somebody give him a fresh set of eyes, the way to look at the defense difference, the way to look at the offense difference. I think Hurts could benefit for something like that, and hopefully he could come over here and be here for a few years, like come and be here for 2 years, then go get you a. Especially somebody like him, you had a little bit of success with Miami. A lot of stuff didn't go right. The Eagles is a perfect organization to come see how it's really ran. Like this is for especially somebody like him. I think it'll benefit him to come in an organization like Philly. Hey, let me see how they put this together over here. Because even outside before Hurts and Nick Sirianni got there, this is a well-ran organization, so it's got to be something they doing. So you come over here, take a little piece of that with you, and what you already got, and he can go do his thing. It's gonna be some more coaching jobs available. All these teams that's hiring new coaches, majority of them in about 2 years gonna be hiring new coaches again, so he could jump on that cycle, and get him a job then. Because it ain't gonna be too many of them that probably like one and done, unless like it's a situation like the Patriots where they seen the Vrabel on the table. You gotta get him, and so
Mm-hmm.
other than that, they probably getting guys 2 to 3 years. But I think he could come get with Philly, and then when these teams ready to start hiring again, and they see the success he done had in Philly, he'll be the first one of the first ones on the list.
Happens every year. Every year we
Uh,
successful.
and then boom. So I say Mike McDaniel. We said Byron Leftwich. Who else did I have in mind?
You had a guy that I wasn't even thinking about. You
Oh
mentioned
yeah,
Nick Foles.
boom. So what I said was I was talking to DP earlier, and I was saying somebody that I wouldn't mind bringing in is now he would probably be my first option just because of the situation we come off first time coordinator. You don't want to. If I'm Nick, I ain't. It looked good, but I don't know if I necessarily like my job might be on the line. This Philly we talking about. If it was another team, hey, first come on. But if we can't get a veteran coordinator, somebody that's seasoned, Nick Foles, man. I like what I like about Nick Foles is even outside of this year, the last few years, just listening to Nick Foles talk about the Eagles, talk about the Eagles offense, talk about Jalen, what he think Jalen should be doing better, what Jalen should be looking at, what the offensive coordinator should be calling, what we should. I just love the way he break down the Eagles, just offense, everything, the players, everything. So I think he got a lot of insight on what's going on in Philly, and I think, and we know how Nick loved Philly, we know how he performed in Philly. I think he could come in and get the best out of Jalen. I wish he had been a veteran on the team. Like I wish, like when he first got here, Hurts could have had him in the QB locker room for years. I think that would have did. I think that would have did great for Hurts just to have somebody, because you can even listen to how Nick how he talk about other quarterbacks he done been in the room with and stuff like that. So I think he would probably be a great coordinator, but he wouldn't be my first option just because of what we coming off of. And I would hate for him to come in here and get this first year under his belt and things not go right now. They looking at him crazy. They looking at Nick Sirianni even crazier, and how he then forced to make a decision to get rid of Nick or something like that. So but what I would like to do, and I was also telling DP this, I would like to hire Mike McDaniel. Go ahead and get Nick Foles in the building now. So when Mike get ready to get up out of there, Nick, slide on in. And then now I know I also been saying I don't want any more first time coordinators, but Nick Foles is literally the only person I would make that exception for. Like, especially if he had already been in the building, come in, rock with us the next 2-3 years, however long McDaniel's in the building. Not saying that we're gonna get Mike, but I'm just saying in a perfect world, what I would like to happen. And even if we don't hire him, whoever we bring in, hey, just try to see if we could get Nick Foles in the building, and kind of have a conversation with him. Sometimes you got to paint a picture for people. Look, we just want to get you in the building, but our ultimate goal is this. I don't know if you aspire to be this, but we would love, for a couple years you come in the building, see how we run and stuff. You're already familiar with us, maybe 2 to 3 years. We could slide you into that role. We know you'll work great with Jalen, but we would like to get you in the building now, see how you work with everybody, see how you like it, and then boom, when the opportunity come available, we got you in mind. You know what I'm saying? I would love to do something like that. And then Nick slide on in. And Nick might be the type of person when he come in, he ain't even necessarily. We already had talked you into this, so he might not even come in looking to eventually be a head coach or something like that. Maybe he would, because Nick do seem like he love the game, but maybe he would come in understanding like, hey man, let me see what I can run up with Sirianni and Hurts for a while. See if we could win a few of these things for Philly before I go do my own thing, if at all. So them three people I got my eye on. I don't know if I really we talked about some other people though. We talked about Dayball. Just because he familiar with Hurts, I think he was coaching Hurts in with college, right?
I think it was something like that.
Yeah.
Frank
Who else?
Wright might be straight.
Frank Wright, he on the table. What we feeling right now is anybody who's not a first time offensive coordinator.
And ain't Kevin Patullo.
Yeah, right. And that's not Kevin Patullo or Brian Johnson. But Brian Johnson, I don't want Brian Johnson back.
Nah,
But if it
he was
came
better than
down
Patullo.
to it and we got to pick somebody off the scrap heap, yeah, damn, come on. But but nah, that's like that's like a situation where, like, if we had went to the Super Bowl and then we was like, well, KP really still win it, he got to get up out of here, and then it's like the only other person available is Brian Johnson or something like that. So for me, he ain't really on the table because we got put out so early. Now it's too much. Like to get a Brian Johnson now would be like a fumble, like
Yeah,
major.
Yep.
it would be a major fumble.
Especially considering what's all out there.
Exactly. So I'm gonna just name them three guys. You can add on to. I kind of mentioned Dayball, but you could throw a few names out there.
I mean, outside of the, we named like all the obvious ones. The Nick Foles one was a great one that I wasn't even thinking about. Um,
Yeah, I've been thinking about that for a while.
it really ain't nobody out there because when you think about some of the other coaches that are out there, they also have some head coaching experience and they might need either they not gonna settle for a offensive
Yeah,
coordinator role
yeah,
or they in a position where you know you only gonna have them for a year, even if they come. So
right.
ideally, I would want the best of both worlds. I want somebody. I like you said, as an Eagles fan, if we got it our way, we would get the equivalent of Vic Fangio on the offensive side.
Hmm.
Somebody who done already spent the block. They done been a head coach. It ain't work out. They know for a fact that ain't what they want to do. They want to just call plays and call it a day. So that's why you throw out names like Frank Wright. That's why you throw out names like Doug Peterson. But we don't know if Doug is done as a head coach. He just don't have a job right now. And the added the added part of he was once a head coach here, so you already know how Philly goes. So you don't really want them problems with him and Nick in the building or potentially just made up stuff in the media. So yeah, I really don't have any other names outside of what we already named. I just, like you said, we want somebody seasoned. We want somebody seasoned, and we preferably want somebody that's gonna stick around for at least a year or two, if not more. So, um, I'm just glad we in a position to do so. And if it's anybody that I trust to make it happen after a bad season, is Howie. So I guess
For
it
real.
remains to be seen.
Yeah, this WWHD. What will Howie do? And we believe in Howie. And just to what you were saying, that's ideal. But at the end of the day, if any one of them dudes, if they only gonna come for a year, if their year in the Super Bowl, we ain't never tripping.
Nope. Cause ain't no bad blood with Steichen, ain't no bad blood with
Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore. So
Yeah, I was low key mad.
I
Um,
was.
Tyson was getting off with the coach because I was like, yeah, they about to fire him this year, and doggone, I be damn if Danny Dimes then go save his bacon. Because he definitely was about to be up out of there. So what's crazy is I was pulling for Shane Steichen up until this year. When I seen it, I was like, dang, he ain't doing that good. I want him to get fired. Nah, he already ain't. As soon as I start going the other way, he start going the other way. So it
Mhm.
just didn't it just didn't work
I
out.
guess it wasn't in the cards for us.
Yeah,
But
it wasn't meant to be.
unfortunately, we gotta talk about this game.
Hmm.
Um, we'll break it down after a word from our sponsor. Introducing Black Diamond Concentrate from Diamond Collection, a premium mineral supplement crafted to elevate your hydration experience. Formulated with no dyes, sweeteners, or artificial flavors, Black Diamond Concentrate is 100% natural. Just 2 dropfuls added to a 16.9 ounce bottle of water can transform the way you hydrate. Order today at poweredbytnb.com and use code DSP at checkout to receive a 20% discount. That's code DSP. All right, let's. All right, welcome back to the Down South Philly Show, brought to you by Sports Lounge Media. Hey man, so we took one on the chin. 49ers came into our house. And it was just really more the same of what we've been dealing with all season long. Defense balling out. As a matter of fact, we got to shout out Q for getting 2 playoff picks. Defense really did everything in their power to keep the game close and you know keep it in the road for as long as they could. But ultimately, we just couldn't do enough on offense to cash in. So we knew that the 49ers had a high-powered offense, but they did come in wounded. No Pearsall. Um, no Kittle. They lost Kittle early in that one to Achilles. And they really just been hobbled all year long, especially when we look at their defense. But tell me what you saw in that game and give me your thoughts on
Man, what I saw in that game was I was thinking at the end of this game, Kevin Batulo need to get fired.
it.
But nah, but man, we came out, went right down the field. Came out, went right down the field, put them up, touchdown. Um, so me seeing how the offense went all season, I kind of was like, it don't really mean that when you see the offense do that. To me, I was like, I'm happy, but at the same time, it's like, all right, let me see what else we do. If I'm not mistaken, didn't Jake miss a field goal?
It might have been an extra point. I think it was an extra point.
Oh, but um, might have been. I don't know. But anyway, he did miss the extra point, but I was thinking he missed the field goal too, but maybe he didn't. But anyway, um,
Maybe.
looking at that game, I really knew it could have went one of both ways. I mean, one two ways. I knew we could have came out there, beat the draws off San Fran. Or I knew we could have come out there and played the way we played all season and be a close game, which it ended up being. It ain't really a whole lot to say about it. We had AJ out there dropping some clutch passes, man. Um, and even though we had a few, I mean, every defense you're not really gonna go a whole game without really getting some stuff caught on you. But we had a few uncharacteristic, plays down the
Deep
field on our
shots.
defense. One of them didn't really end up being nothing. Um, and then I think the other one they might have got a field goal, and then they got us with a trick play that was like really their only touchdown. But um, and a couple of those plays was on Quinn, but it was crazy because he kind of redeemed himself, came back with 2 picks, so he was like, I
Two
ain't going
picks.
for it. He said he wasn't going for it. So regardless of pretty much everything that went on in the game, we still could have came out of there with the W, even without having to go on the last minute drive. It was just some stuff that we left, like AJ. Man, let me say this: AJ, AJ dropped some key passes, but it was a lot of penalties San Fran was committing that wasn't called as well. I don't know what was up with that. We were supposed to have home field advantage. I don't
Hmm.
really know what was up with that. Um, somebody had uh Jerry Jones wasn't going for it this year. He didn't put the call in. Yeah, we sitting at the house, they sitting at the house, and that's all he said. And they knew what it meant. They knew they was gonna get paid. You know what I'm saying? He called in. That's his code. We at the house. They at the house. Click. They like, you know what's up. But so it was a lot of calls that we didn't get. Obvious calls too. Not saying that's the whole reason why we lost the game, but I mean they changed the tide of the game, especially the deep ball to AJ. But AJ dropped like 3 clutch passes. Smitty dropped one. Um, and we would have been with at like the 5 or the 3 yard line with Smitty, maybe the 2. He was somewhere down there. Um, it would have been a first down, whatever it was. Penalties killed us once again. We already not moving the ball like that. We finally moved the ball. I think Saquon broke off a big run. Boom, he get called back. Um, if I'm not mistaken, I think Jalen might have had broke off a run that might have got called back. But
Mhm.
and it was the same thing we've been seeing all season. Break off a first down or a nice play or whatever, get called back. And we just been undisciplined. The line was committing a lot of penalties. Wide receivers committing penalties. Wide receivers not blocking. Um, it was a team effort. It was a team effort that that got us this that got this loss. It's really hard to say too much about KP because he pretty much did the same thing he been doing all season. Play, I mean, the play designs already what they was, so we saw a lot of the same route concepts. I don't know why they. And then people try to make it seem like, yeah, Jalen can't really throw that now, so that's why all the right. Bro, come on, bro. We got enough
It don't
sample
even make
size.
sense.
We got enough sample size of this man doing everything that he done did really, and everything that everybody else been doing. So, um, I don't to be real. While I'm watching it, and if you watch the rest of the games, whenever it's Jalen fault, I always be like, man, that one was on Jalen. But now, don't get me wrong, it was a couple of things he did wrong in that game. Nobody gonna play a perfect game, but I didn't even leave that game thinking nothing about Jalen for real. It was a lot of he was putting the ball on the money, man. They was dropping it. I'm like, they making Hurts look bad. That's what I was. That's probably why I wasn't even pissed about it. Because every time they dropped the ball, I'm like, I know the media. I was like, they ain't gonna say nothing about. They gonna blame it on Hurts.
Yeah, they gonna chalk it up to incompletions.
But let somebody that happen to another team. The wide receivers let Josh Allen down. It's Hurts, same scenario. Yeah, Hurts just couldn't get it done. Man, shit. But so that's another reason why it's probably even hard for me to say anything because I seen what he was doing, and I seen what he was doing with what he was working with. I'm looking at the receivers routes like what the hell is they running? And not only that, I know what's coming. You think they don't know what's coming? I'm sitting there home calling the route out.
Oh yeah, they ain't changed the concepts all year.
So I
What's
mean,
good, Ken?
what we did with what we had, and we kind of went into that game. We kind of went into that game knowing that that outcome could have been that. Like we had hope. Hey, maybe our defense can hold out. Maybe the offense either do what they've been doing or maybe they could take off. But everybody know we really was banking on the defense. But in the back of our minds, we knew what it was. That's why it was really hard to true. We knew what it was. We knew there was a possibility. So when we lost the game, we kind of was like, well, we were playing with fire anyway. Like we was bound to get burnt. So and that's what ended up happening. I don't really have too much bad to say about the defense. They gave up a couple plays, but for them to hold the team to what they held them to,
a Shanahan team at that.
Exactly. They kind of, especially what they've been doing all season outside of a couple games. So,
so we held McCaffrey to 15 rushes and 48 yards on the ground. That's excellent. That's excellent. That's excellent. He really did all his damage in the passing game.
Oh, okay.
In the passing game. Because he the one that caught that big trick play.
Yeah,
so he ended up with six catches for 66 yards.
It still ain't bad.
The big plays that we got was really just one-off. Jennings got a 45-yard bomb, catch and run, and that was his only catch. Demarcus Robinson had a big 61-yarder. That's what set up their first points of the game. But outside of that, he ended it with like six catches for 111 yards. But when you consider that 61 of them came on one play, it really wasn't that bad. So those was the two plays in the passing game that we gave up. But
one more thing,
I got nothing bad to say about the defense.
I will say this one thing though, and I was thinking this the whole game, especially at the end. One thing I will say about the defense, we ain't get no pass rush. We got a couple sacks, but them boys
Purdy was comfortable.
They wasn't doing what we've been doing. They went after them like that. There was a couple times they was kind of close, but we wasn't being dogs like we usually be up front. Like we usually be on you the whole game. It was just like we weren't really. It was like here and there we was getting a little something. Fangio really was getting to him when we were sending them blitzes. But we weren't really. It wasn't the defensive line itself just wasn't getting off, and I think that kind of that kind of hurt us a little bit too, because even on that trick play. Okay, tell Naomi to take it to the potty. But yeah, so even on that trick play, had we maybe got some penetration or something, maybe that mess up the whole trick play. Then they got Blankenship to bite on the, and he coming up to stop the run anyway, so they probably seen that on film. Yeah, Blankenship coming, like somebody catch that ball on the flat, you can bank on the linebackers and Blankenship coming full steam.
Mm-hmm.
But so there was a great play by them, and I want to say for San Fran, there was a great offensive line play by them too as well. For them to show up in the biggest moment like that against the defensive line like this, and really kind of like really hold their own, to me, outside of the blitzes and a couple other plays, they did their thing. So I give that a lot to 49ers offensive line, and even in the pregame thing, I said the game would be won in the trenches.
Yeah, we when it comes to, like I said, on defense, to be able to hold the McCaffrey to under 50 yards on the ground with what he been doing all year long, to be able to hold really a Shanahan led team to little or nothing on the ground. So I mean, defense, while they weren't as dominant as we used to seeing, they did enough for us to win that game. It really was offense that didn't hold up their end of the bargain. So um like Mike said, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we free at last. So KP is out. We kind of spent the whole first block talking about um what that means, what we could possibly do in the future. But Mike, I want to get your thoughts because you probably missed it. Outside of the obvious play callers that we talked about, one name that we did bring up, Dom actually brought it up. I wasn't even thinking about this, but Nick Foles as an offensive coordinator could be an interesting addition. Now, I know he doesn't fit the bill of a seasoned offensive coordinator, but he's a Philly guy. He won a Super Bowl here. He's played the quarterback position, so he could, be an excellent guy for to coach up Hurts. If some of the bigger names just don't work out and aren't on the table, that could possibly be something that they explore. Now, we haven't heard any reports. As a matter of fact, right now, we don't even know if Foles wants to be an offensive coordinator. So this is just more for conversation basis. So that's something that's on the table. What do you think about Nick Foles? But outside of that, it's time to get into these divisional picks, baby. So Ken brought up what are my divisional picks. So the first game, we got the Buffalo Bills going into Denver off of a week rest because they secured the bye in the first round bye. You gotta give me the Bills, baby. I think that this is the season. If it's gonna happen, it's gotta happen this season. What do you think? What do you think about the matchup? We just turned the page to the divisional round. So the first game we're gonna talk about the Bills and the Broncos.
Yeah, I wasn't here when y'all transitioned, so let me say, rest in peace to the Eagles season.
Yeah, it's over with.
Rest in peace to the Birds, man. They got us on the grill. But but what is it, the Pats and the Bills?
Nah, the Bills and the Broncos.
The Bills and the Broncos. The only reason why, there's a couple of things that make me hesitant about picking this game. I don't know what to expect out of what's the Broncos quarterback?
Bo Nix.
Out of Bo Nix. Just because if you watched him all season, he kind of been up and down, kind of relying on the defense, which you're a young quarterback. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm just pointing out what's been going on. Um, but the Broncos do have a good defense, and I feel like the Bills' Achilles' heels been they offensive line. Everybody been saying they got a great offensive line, but I've been seeing some teams get after them. Now they seem like they might be turning up in the playoffs, maybe. And we know what the Bills normally do in the playoffs. Um, so it's hard to really say what we're gonna get out of this particular Bills team consistently, because we done seen what they done did throughout the season. But it's hard for me to just go against the Bills. Um, so I would have to just go. I would have to go for. I would just have to go with the Bills just because of that. Just because if I got a question mark with both teams, then I'm gonna go with the team that I feel like just they've been there. They've been doing this, and they got Josh Allen and some guys.
Yeah. All these matchups that we're about to talk about are pretty evenly matched. And really, honestly, a coin flip in all of them. So the second game, that's gonna be Saturday night. San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks for a three-peat.
I don't know how the other two games went, but I think Seattle. Oh yeah, I think they couldn't. 49ers couldn't do that last time. Now let me say this: it probably won't be like this way. It probably won't be like that again, where they only scored 3 points. Because they playing them for the second time, so they see everything that they.
Third time.
I mean, for the third time, but they see everything they was doing that last time and what they did the first time. But even outside of that, I think Seattle win just off of defense, and I don't think they will consistently get to. Um, I don't think the 49ers defense will consistently be able to affect what's that quarterback?
Darnold.
Darnold, Sam Darnold. So if you give Sam Darnold time, just like dang near any other quarterback, he gonna do his thing. He gonna carve you up. So and with them not getting to him on offense, and then them already having a pretty good defense, I got Seattle winning that game.
Seattle coming off a weaker rest. They got to sit back, kick up their feet, get as healthy as possible. I already like their running game with Walker and Charbonnet. JSN been lighting it up all year long, proving that he deserves to be in the conversation for one of the best wide receivers in the league. Sam Darnold is probably the biggest question mark in that game. So we've seen him lead for the second year in a row a team to a 14-win regular season. But he put a little dip on his chip, and this year he actually secured the 1 seed. But like you said, the other thing, I'm going with the Seahawks. But the other reason why I'm going with the Seahawks is just because San Francisco they too hurt. They really was too hurt for us. We just didn't have the offense to take advantage of it. The Seahawks do have the offense to take advantage of it. Um, and when we talk about them being hurt, they lost Kittle, which is a huge loss for San Francisco. So when you add that on to all the other injuries that they have, and that was a physical game that they played against us. So I think all of that being said, Seahawks, they go ahead and take care of business. Then we got to flip to Sunday. So the first matchup, we got the Houston Texans going up against the New England Patriots. That's another one of them coin flip type games. What you feel about that one?
I'm gonna have to go with. Wait, what matchup?
It's the Texans and the Pats.
I'm up here thinking about. I'm gonna go with the. That's that's kind of tough. I'm gonna have to roll with. I'm gonna roll with the Patriots, man. I think they just been a little bit more consistent. It seems like they always get what they need when they need it. And for me, I'm just a believer in Rabel. I feel like he gonna always have his guys prepared. And I think the Texans, to me, they kind of shaky. They kind of shaky, and I think they gonna shake right on out the playoffs after this game. I do now. I am pulling for Stroud. Now, if it was up to me, who I want to win, I want the Texans to win. But if I'm being truthful and who I think will win, I had to go with the Patriots. I just think they're a better overall team. I think they're playing as a better overall team so far this season, and I think they go ahead and get this W, man, and they'll be in the AFC Championship.
Yeah. It's crazy that we actually sitting here saying that a second year quarterback in Drake May, we actually trust him a little more than we do Stroud. Now, Stroud can ball out, but he also can make some of them plays. He like, what is you thinking?
Hey, Stroud got going.
Some of them bonehead type plays. Defense is they defense gonna keep him in the game. So it's probably gonna be another game like we saw against the
The
Pats
pass,
and the Chargers.
yeah.
Um, because the
That's
Chargers
why I was
were
sitting over
able
here
to
thinking
get
about it.
the Chargers were able to get to May like 5 or 6 times. So I see that being something that the Texans could do too.
Yep.
Um, and both the Texans and the Chargers offensive lines are very shaky. So the Pats can do what they did and get to Stroud as
Bill
well.
Williams, baby.
Yeah, Milton Williams been getting off. He definitely, in my opinion, has earned the money that they gave him at least in year one. I guess Ken can kind of weigh in on how he feel about Milton Williams so far, but we knew they was getting a dog. So yeah, give me the Pats. Give me the Pats in this one. Last matchup of the divisional weekend, we got the Los Angeles Rams going up against the Chicago Bears. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with the Rams. I
Yeah.
think Chicago doggone clock strike 12 on them. Midnight.
Mhm.
They turn back into some pumpkins. But I mean you got the good offense going up against a trash defense who can they only hope gonna be if they can start taking the ball away. Now I ain't gonna say they can't because anything can happen in any games any given Sunday. So all they got to do, they might not be the better team, but if they can come out and be the better team for one night, they can win the game. But just looking at everything as a whole, the Rams got they defensive line could get after you. They got a good offense. They shouldn't have no business losing to Chicago.
If they are who the media been propping them up to be all year, they
Right.
go in here and they take care of business.
Yep.
So we picked the Rams, we picked the Pats, we both picked the Bills, and we both picked Seattle. So that's our four for the divisional round. If you had to guess who gonna be in the conference champion, well, That's a stupid question because we done already picked our winner. So never mind. Abort. Abort. That's really we done talked about everything. We done already got the matchups up out of here. We talked about this loss against the 49ers to get them to this point.
But you could do the Super Bowl though.
Yeah, let's make a Super Bowl prediction. Who you got? Who you got in the Super Bowl?
Who was our Final Four?
So the final four are gonna end up being the
Patriots.
Bills versus the
Patriots.
Patriots, and the Rams versus the Seahawks.
Bills versus the Patriots. Rams versus the Seahawks. Fuck. Damn, I hate to say it. I'm gonna have to go Rams because I think Sam Darnold gonna choke. Rams. I do like Seattle defense, but I don't know if they can do what they did twice. Twice. So I have to go Rams. Patriots, Bills, Patriots, Bills, Patriots, Bills.
Two divisional matchups at that point.
Fuck. Rams, Patriots. That's a oh, that take you back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That
Now,
that was the greatest show on turf, wasn't it?
yeah, that was either the end or the beginning. I can't remember which
I think
one.
that might have been the end.
Um, but yeah, I could see that. I would if I'm going for who I want to win though. I would much rather it be the Bills and the Seahawks in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, if it's who I wanted to be in there, it'd be Seattle Patriots.
Um, but we'll see. We didn't talked about
Boy,
it all, baby. We don't. Of course, Thursday night football is over with for the year. All we got 4 games on the docket, so we already went over the matchup. So we'll be covering all 4: 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, uh, on Primetime Sports. But that's all we got for you this week. Next week we'll kind of start going over the landscape and start thinking outside of the box on the kind of conversations that we can be having now that our season is kaput. Um, Hopefully we'll be talking about our new offensive coordinator next week. Wishful thinking, but until then, we'll tap in with y'all. Where my video at? Until then, we're gonna tap in with y'all on Saturday.
I thought you was about to be saying, damn, we wasn't even recording the whole time.
Gotcha. Now the outro video ain't on here for some reason. Oh, there you go. But until then, go Birds.
Go Birds, baby.
Make sure y'all hit that like button, drop a few comments, subscribe. We on the road to 400 subs on Sports Lounge Media and 500 subs on Down South Philly. So go ahead and sub them both up. It'll be a huge help.
Hey, right before we get out of here, I see this post.
What?
Former Commanders OC Cliff King. I forgot about Cliff Kingsbury, but former Commanders OC Cliff Kingsbury and former Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski will get a real look for the Eagles' offensive coordinator position among other candidates, according to Josina Anderson. Cliff Kingsbury.
I wouldn't be opposed to Cliff. I'm unfamiliar with
Me
Stefanski's
too.
scheme, so I would have
But
to. The only thing I know about Stefanski is he does like to run the ball, which is good. But that's all I know is that he like to run the ball. What's your thoughts on it?
my thoughts on it is I'm cool with Cliff Kingsbury, and it's talking about how he was the runner-up behind Kellen Moore
Last year.
last year, and I forgot there was a thing. But Because I think we interviewed both of them. But what was I about to say? Oh, Kevin Stefanski. Nah, bro. I seen what you was doing with Shador over there, bro. I ain't even down. He come into Philly, man. He gonna become the business. But send him to the back. Nah,
Yeah.
I don't know what he on. I don't know his scheme and stuff like that. But I might not even like bro as a person. I don't know what he got going on. I had to see what. Yeah, don't come bringing no drum. We got enough drama, man. Don't come over here,
Yeah.
damn.
Need no help in the drama department.
Yeah, we don't come over here with no foolishness. So damn. Outside of that, I would have to look. If we just talking about what he do on the field, I had to look. I don't really, like you say, I don't really know his scheme and what he like to do and how his offense look. But I do know Cliff Kingsbury. He on the table for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. So that's all we got for this week. Y'all go ahead and let us know who your favorite coordinator is. Maybe somebody we didn't get to cover. We covered quite a few of them. But we're going to see y'all again on Saturday right here. Primetime Sports. Comment, like, subscribe. Go Birds, baby.